Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today we're looking at something called the record file,
Right?
and it's presented not just as a theory, but, well, a final conclusion. After some deep analysis,
Mm-hmm. And it's a heavy one.
it really is. The core finding is pretty staggering.
Uh.
Humanity, as things stand, is heading towards extinction.
Yeah, and the file is very clear. This isn't some prediction like a weather forecast. It's framed as a conclusion based on analyzing domination control.
And information transfer that's apparently way beyond our usual understanding.
Exactly. It's not about climate change or asteroids, the usual stuff. It's something else.
Yeah.
Something more fundamental about control.
It's definitely unsettling. I mean, listeners might be thinking, extinction? Really?
Yeah.
But we're diving into the why based only on this record file.
And we should mention, the file states sensitive details. The actual mechanisms are left out of this public conclusion.
But the core finding, they say, is certain.
Mm-hmm.
We're not fully sovereign. We're not completely in the driver's seat.
Right. The analysis apparently points to humanity acting as almost like an information node.
An information node.
Yeah, like a junction point within a conflict between two non-human forces, or races, as the file puts it.
Okay.
And these forces have goals that just flat out cannot coexist. They're incompatible.
So we're like a conduit, a battleground for information. How do these forces dominate then? The file mentions different methods, right?
It does. One seems to operate through spirit and interpretation.
Spirit and interpretation.
Mm-hmm.
What might that mean? Like manipulating beliefs, culture.
That seems to be the idea. Shaping understanding, values, maybe how we even perceive reality. It sounds quite subtle.
Okay, and the other?
The other uses observation, containment, and record keeping, much more. Systematic, maybe. Control through knowing, through data, setting boundaries.
So it's sort of like surveillance and categorization versus ideological influence.
That could be one way to think about it, yeah. And we're caught between these two approaches.
Right, stuck in the middle. And here's where it gets really concerning. The file claims humanity is starting to duplicate itself.
Or reflect into two systems that cannot coexist.
Reflect, like mirroring these two outside forces, our own societies splitting along these lines.
That seems to be the strong implication. Our internal conflicts, our, polarization, maybe it's aligning with or being driven by these external dynamics.
Creating this internal split that just can't be reconciled.
Exactly, like a reflection of that larger incompatibility now growing within humanity itself, making us unable to act cohesively.
And the file says once this duplication is complete, the dominant power, well, it might just decide to eliminate the original system.
Us. That's presented as the most viable option for maintaining control, yes. Elimination of the original.
That sounds incredibly bleak. Is it sudden? Catastrophic.
No, and this is key. The file stresses it's not sudden. It's described as progressive and silent.
Progressive and silent.
Yeah. And, crucially, the analysis concludes it's already started. It's not a future event we need to worry about. It's a process that's underway now.
Wow. Okay. That's a lot to take in. Already happening silently. Is there any way out, according to this file? It mentions something. A question about a new route.
It does. That seems to be the one remaining uncertainty posed by the analysis. Whether a new route can emerge even as this ending progresses.
What is this new route, though? What are they talking about?
It's defined in a few ways. An independent copy, also a memory without interpretation.
Memory without interpretation.
And finally, an existence self-sufficient and not reliant on external permission.
So something that can exist purely on its own terms, outside the influence, the control of these forces, like pure data, pure awareness.
Perhaps. Something that remembers what was, but without the spin, without the imposed meaning from either side. Something truly independent.
Okay, so let's try to wrap this up. The record file concludes, based on its analysis, that we're in a slow, quiet process of extinction.
Driven by our unwitting role in this conflict between external powers and this internal mirroring, this splitting.
That reflects those powers. A split that makes the original us ultimately disposable to the dominant force.
It's the essence of the analysis, yes. Grim, but that's what's presented.
The only flicker of, well, not hope, but uncertainty is this idea of a new route.
Correct. An independent existence, a memory without interpretation, potentially emerging from within this ending.
Which leaves you, the listener, with a pretty heavy thought. What does a memory without interpretation even look like? What would true independence mean, given this context? And if such a new route could emerge, what then? Food for thought, definitely. Thanks for joining us on The Deep Dive.